Take a look at the lefty. You mentioned the extreme weather that Abbott's had to deal with his last couple of starts.
Yeah, we mentioned it in St. Louis. It was a heat wave that came through, and I think he went about through three or four different jerseys as well as socks. And then he came here, and we really saw him spiking a lot of balls this last time out because he didn't use it as an excuse, but the mound was very wet, and it was tough for him. Those are tough pitching conditions, so it's just, it's just one of those things that, we talked about this before the game. If the rain affects you as a player, you don't want to mention it, and you don't certainly use it as an excuse. But we certainly saw Andrew Abbott and the frustration right there with some of the slipping on his landing foot, and it affected his pitches. That should not be the case today.
The 9 that he'll oppose, A's have dropped 7 straight, outscored 49-19 in that time. Bolte, White, Heim, Soderstrom, Muncy, Butler, Servant, Williams, and Ornelas. The Reds have won 10 of 14. 9 of those 10 wins have come by 2 or less. They've won a lot of close games. Bolte fouls off the first pitch as we are underway. Had 3 hits in game 1, was 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts yesterday. Appeal, no go. He's far more often in the bottom tier of the lineup. That's where he had been the first 2 games. But the left-handed Abbott on the mound, so he's the leadoff man for the 10th time on this year and his young career. Sent to center, Dane Myers. Full defense for the Reds. Some try-help. Myers flanked by the former A, J.J. Bleday and Noel V. Marte. Hector Rodriguez is the DH today. Infield of Suarez, De La Cruz, McLean on his birthday. Happy birthday. Sal Stewart at first. Tyler Stevenson catching. Also Hunter Green's birthday today. Happy birthday to Hunter. Tommy White. His lone base hit on the series came yesterday. He also struck out. He's 1 for 8 on the series. Through the left side, base hit.
Try to be aggressive early. Throw strikes early, swing early.
A man on for the switch hitting Jonah Heim, the A's primary catcher, is the DH today. Had a ribby double yesterday. He is also 1 for 8 on the series. Now, while he is often behind the plate for the A's, there are few behind the plate as often as Tyler Stevenson has been for the Reds this year. 85 games caught. That's the second most in the majors. Tied him up on that cutter. Light lead for White, who's not a base stealer. Swing and a miss. Does not have one of the bigs, only had 5 in the minors. Looks like they watered down that infield pretty significantly. You can see the darkening of the dirt. Grounded to Suarez. McLean. Double play. Reds 9, St. Elizabeth Healthcare. Ellie De La Cruz leads it off. South Stewart, 5 bombs in his last 18 games, 21 ribs in that time. J.J. Blade, Tyler Stevenson, Eugenio Suarez, Dane Myers, the Rook, Hector Rodriguez, Noel V. Marte, and birthday man Matt McLean. They face a man more recently put into the A's rotation. That was out of necessity, Mason Barnett.
Mason Barnett, a reliever, starter, minor leagues, major leagues, 4th stint with the A's this year. He is all the way on the third base side of the rubber. He's a 4-seam fastball pitcher. Throws a slider and a sweeper.
Ellie De La Cruz, left field. Tyler Soderstrom way back, opposite way, and gone. De La Cruz goes deep, his 19th. 1-0 Reds right out the gate.
And before I could finish with that repertoire, the occasional changeup, which is the pitch that Ellie De La Cruz drove out the other way. And this is a really nice thing what Ellie has done this year from both sides of the plate. Understanding pitchers are going to run away from contact. They're going to pitch him away, throw him off speed. He drove that ball opposite barrel. Nice job.
Swing and a miss, South Stewart. Base hit and a run scored yesterday. He's got 2 knocks on the series, a walk and a sac fly. Now that home run for Ellie, his 4th career leadoff home run. And half have come this year, right? He hadn't had one since I think it was 23 when he was last the leadoff man until these last few weeks. I just don't think it's a coincidence, as Ellie and Sal have settled 1-2. There's been a greater consistency. There are more often big spots where they've had chances to impact the game. And it doesn't mean they're going to come through every time. Nobody does. But you want your best players to have the most chances.
Yes. And there have been scoring opportunities for or opportunities to drive in runs. Sal Stewart has 86 ribbies hitting second. Now, he hasn't hit second the entire season, but the point is there have been people on base in front of him the entire season.
And while it's a very small sample, the Reds have played 4 games with the top 4 of Ellie, Sal, Blade, Stevenson. They've won all of them. Two. Barnett joined the rotation with JT Ginn, hit the IL with a blister. That was in mid-July. Fouled back. Barnett, 25 years old, born in Kennesaw, Georgia, went to high school in Cartersville, Georgia. High school that has produced a lot of pros in football and baseball. 2-2. In the air to right field, Lawrence Butler. But probably best known for Wayne Knight, better known as Newman from Seinfeld.
I tell you, Ellie is just doing such a nice job of driving that off-speed pitch the other way. Look how he really gets into that back hip, hits against the stiff front side, extension, elevation. And if they're going to throw you out there, why not? We saw it early in the season. Sal Stewart, everyone pitching him away. Now they're starting to make the adjustment to try to throw him inside. So he did a lot of his damage the other way early in the season. Ellie has been pretty much the entire season. Everyone pitches him away, showing the ability to hit the ball at the ballpark the opposite way.
J.J. Bleday 0 for 3 yesterday. He's got a base hit and a walk on the set against his former club. He sees a lot of off speed, a lot of changeups and splits, a lot of pitches down and or away. He's had a fine year. 19 home runs. And that has been a key difference. If and when he gets down in the count, his ability to tell what is and is not a strike away and to take the misses has gotten way better. Into the seats.
So a key thing for J.J. Bleday, in order for him to continue hitting well and even getting better as a player, is to set up and really spend the offseason on how he's going to attack the off-speed pitches or the pitches on the outside part of the plate. He knows very well that he can pull the ball very well. The question is he willing to make the adjustment to be able to drive that ball that's on the outside part of the plate? There's two ways to do it. Think about hitting the ball the other way or get closer to the plate and still pull the ball. And kind of being in between, I don't think it's going to be able to allow you to maintain hitting third in a lineup, because most of the time your third hitter, obviously that's not the case here with this team, but most of the time your third hitter is your best hitter, not necessarily your home run hitter, because you're thinking about those guys, that first and second guy getting on base. Many times that third hitter is a guy that can just do that, hit. Nice stroke by J.J. Bleday, but I truly believe that there is upside. There's even more upside with J.J. Bleday. As good as he's been this year, I think he can get so much better.
He's aboard for Tyler Stevenson. Last saw him Tuesday. He was 0 for 4. Fouled back, strike one. Stevenson's hands a lot more active pre-pitch.
It is. It's obvious, yeah. I think so. That swing, that was a great swing right there. And as I said, you mentioned it with the J.J. Bleday. With 2 strikes, he took that fastball, I believe it was, on the just off the outside part of the plate, and you mentioned a great take. That was another great take by Tyler Stevenson there. I feel like that's where this team is right now. They're playing confident, taking pitches, swinging at strikes, making good contact.
They got a run right at the start on the De La Cruz leadoff homer. Check on Bleday. Just off the plate away. That's a hard pitch to lay off. Sweeper running away. Look how close. Way high. Bleday goes, pitch missed down. That's ball 4. Throw down means nothing. That's a walk. I assume we got ABS here.
It is.
Powered by T-Mobile. That was a strike.
The call is overturned.
So it's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Stevenson is done looking, and Bleday was cut down.
Well, we were able to get on the board. Ellie De La Cruz taking a breaking ball, driving it out the other way. It's a good start.
Cruz 1-0 Reds. Second inning getting underway. Tyler Soderstrom. Soderstrom got aboard 3 times yesterday. 1 base hit, couple of walks, scored a run. He's got 2 hits, a double. He has walked 3 times on the series. Hanging pitch, shot foul. One. Lifted right field. Marte deep corner has it. Well, double play ended the last half inning. The pitch was called a ball, which would have nullified any tag at second base, but ABS was employed, and this was in the zone for a strikeout, which means you can retire that runner.
And you can see the catcher, Ryan Serban, going right to the helmet after he makes the throw down to second base. You're supposed to call it right away if you're challenging it, but you got to play the game, and then certainly he went right to the helmet.
0-1 on Max Muncy.
And here it is. Got to complete the play. And as that ball's in the air, you can see Serban going right to the helmet.
Nice changeup from Abbott. Now, when I spoke with Abbott the other day, I asked him what pitches he felt best about, and he talked about the sweeper and that changeup. Check swing seemed to go, no. And there they were in succession. Muncy was able to hold back. Swing and miss, that changeup.
Well, when you feel confident about a pitch, you throw it with conviction. Fastball, arm speed, but the muffle grip on the baseball takes the speed off the ball. Swing and miss.
Lawrence Butler, who has shown pronounced power during his games at Great American Ballpark, he led off yesterday with a home run on a 2-strike pitch. So entering today, Butler had played 5 games at Great American Ballpark, hitting 6 home runs. The finale, when the A's were here 2 years ago, he went deep 3 times. Hard foul. Rolled to second. Backhanded by McLean. 1-2-3 for Abbott. Back on Reds TV from Bar S. Reds ahead on the A's. They have handled the junior circuit quite well. They'll see another American League foe, the White Sox, on the coming road trip. First pitch in on Suarez's hand, strike 1. Gino 0 for 3, all strikeouts yesterday. 1 for 6 with a walk on the series. Appeal, no go. Check swing, he went, strike 3.
Just climbing the ladder.
Dane Myers. One for 4, strikeout yesterday when he was the Reds' 3-hole hitter. He was 0 for game 1. He is having a career year in terms of average and on base. Healthy cut, 0-2. Barnett, a far different foe than what the Reds saw on the starting mound yesterday from Jacob Lopez.
Yeah, Jacob Lopez was an awkward lefty. Just a different motion. It's your prototypical mid-90s fastball right-hander with the slider and a changeup.
And while the stuff is certainly far better today from Barnett, there was some funk to Lopez that bewildered the Reds first time through.
And he struck out the first 3. And it was all the same way. Show him inside, lull him asleep to that with that backdoor breaking ball.
And the second best strikeout day of his career. I was actually a little surprised he didn't stay in there, especially with 2, 3, and 4 coming up, who had not done anything against him to that point. Two. Foul tip. Upstairs, strike 3.
That's the second time that Mason Barnett, with 2 strikes on these hitters, climbed the ladder with that heater. Suarez swung at a ball, as does Dane Myers.
Now Hector Rodriguez looking for his first big league hit. In his debut Tuesday, he did walk and score a run, and he nearly had a knock that was somehow speared floating over shortstop, handled by Jacob Wilson. His brother was in the stands, rolling on the moment with his phone, and he was in disbelief as a would-be hit then was taken away. Could it come now?
Well, he put it out there, that floater over Wilson's head at shortstop. Just impeccable timing and extension. He dropped the Diablo there. I can't believe it.
Up and in. And for a hitter who's known for being hitterish and known for being a bad ball hitter at times, I was surprised at his calmness and his takes in game 1. Swing and miss. Pretty nasty biting curveball. Barnett's cooking. He has struck out 4 straight.
That's very cool.
Whoever paid you $20, they got their value. Bottom third due up for the A's. Backdoor strike, Andrew Abbott. It's Brian Serven. It's the kind of pitch that Cowboys preached about for a long time. We've seen Abbott incorporate it. Nick Lodolo has added that to his repertoire as well. That first pitch backdoor breaker for a strike.
Yeah, most of the times hitters, that is not a pitch that hitters are looking for, number one, nor want to offer at. So normally you're looking for fastball, something with some pace on it. You're certainly not looking off speed and backdoor. Now, there are certain guys that have a tendency to throw that first pitch. And when that is the case, you certainly hunt those pitches. But Andrew Abbott isn't one of those guys, nor is Lodolo.
And that's part of Cowboys' concept with it. You don't throw a get me over, but you probably also don't throw your best, because you want to save that for later, possibly that AB.
Well, the concept is to steal a strike.
Yep.
You don't steal a strike with a backdoor breaking ball that happens to be over the middle of the plate. That's putting yourself in harm's way.
Alika Williams got the start today. Drives that ball opposite way. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. He pinch hit and had a knock off the pine in game 1. He's having a career year across the board. Former Pirate. Softly to third. Suarez, a lot of action his way. Pirates, by the way, have a day game today with the Brewers. They get underway at 2:10. Braxton Ashcraft against the most recently former Cardinal. Dustin May will make his Milwaukee debut. Pirates have lost 7 of 9. A Reds win, a Pirates loss. They would jump them in the division and wild card standings. Jonathan Ornelas making his series debut. Backdoor strike. Earlier in his career, sometime around between the All-Star break and August, in some of those seasons for Abbott, a wall came. Last year, the All-Star year, he went through it as well as he had, and I feel like he's in the midst of something similar right now. 1-2. Swing and miss. Looking strong, the southpaw. Ellie De La Cruz will get it going for the Reds. So are we going to do it for the open for that game, Lark? Noel V. Marte. First pitch in the air center field. Henry Bolte.
What is that you're speaking of, John?
Are you familiar with Harry Potter?
I am.
So you've seen the movies and or read the books?
I have.
Do we use a sorting hat in the open?
Let's take this off camera right quick.
Heard that reaction before.
Let's talk about that back. Let's talk about that off air here. What are we trying to accomplish here, bud?
Just having fun and seeing if you're Gryffindor, right?
I am.
That's not much of a question. We know what the hat's going to say.
We do.
Ball 1 to Matt McLean, who homered yesterday. Had a double in game 1. Playing today on his birthday. We have seen a concerted effort from McLean to go up the middle opposite way, something you've talked about Since he's come back from the IL, all of his hits have been to right field, and well over half his contact period has been either up the middle or right field.
Just waiting on that breaking ball that they hang over the inside part of the plate that he blisters into the upper deck in left field.
Starting his setup with the bat resting on his shoulder slightly. I'm not sure I've seen that.
Yep, a little bit different.
Swing and a miss. Barnett is cooking with gas right now. What would the bat on the shoulder do for a hitter?
Just flatten out his bat and just make it shorter. Just trying to get less movement. Got to be down and through the ball. This is a little late. Kind of up. That ball's at the top of the zone, but you still got to think about getting your hands on top of that ball. And listen, Matt has talked about it. He said, I can't miss the heater. I have to hit the heater. So he knows about it. He's just trying to figure out how in the world to consistently be able to do that.
De La Cruz opposite way again. Soderstrom started in, now fading back. Stabs it on the back pedal, a 1-2-3 inning. Mason Barnett has faced the minimum since the LA home run.
Some nerd broadcaster speculated yesterday after his rehab stint at Louisville, and second rehab start tonight. First one at AAA. Brandon Williamson will go, and with Hunter Green on the IL and perhaps bracing for some even worse news, Reds are ready to go into a really tough stretch as far as a lot of games, no days off. They will need as much pitching as they can get their hands on.
A one shot to center. Henry Bolte is on. Can never have too much pitching. And speaking of Hunter, Jim, he's likely to see the second opinion today.
Yeah, it's out in California, so I believe it's 3:30 Pacific time. So we should know much more tomorrow.
And so the Reds get their road trip underway at Washington, D.C. Tommy White has singled through the left side. Take strike one. Now, Henry Bolte is a far more significant running threat than White was when he singled in the first. Those are the only two to reach so far. Rolled off the mound, leaks into center. Bolte through second base. Scoop by Marte, throw to second. Bolte plunges into third. Men at the corners.
Well, you talked about Bolte and Dane Myers and his strong throwing arm in center field. This ball hit up the middle, and Bolte, I think he thought about, should I test him or not? See that little read as he gets to second base and then turns on the burners.
Jonah Heim inside. Heim is bounced into a double play. Jim Day, in your conversations with Andrew Abbott, how has ABS impacted him?
Well, he said ABS has been messing with pitchers' minds all season long, and particularly the pitchers that have lived at the top of the zone with a fastball or whatever pitch it is, in this case a fastball, that they've been trying to learn what that zone is. The knees are pretty consistent, east to west, pretty consistent, but it's based on a hitter's height. So the top of the zone was an unknown, and they're still trying to figure out. And those guys that lived up there and got some chase are not getting the same type of chase. So it's taken a minute to actually figure out how to attack it as a pitcher in that sequence.
That was probably his truest strength when he first arrived, as Danny Graves called it back then, his invisible. Three-one to Heim, way high, and that's the first walk for Abbott. Loads the bases with nobody out.
I feel like this in the past has been where Andrew Abbott has done his best work, kind of getting into trouble. has always shown a knack to be able to navigate through that trouble and minimize the damage.
Soderstrom first pitch fouled away.
You're a punch out and a ground ball away from getting out of this.
A 1. Grounded through, base hit. That's 1 run. A second sent home. Bolte followed by Tommy White. Heim up to second. Soderstrom plates 2. Reds trail 2-1.
I'll give Soderstrom some credit. Lefty on lefty, but the location of this pitch is middle.
Max Muncy, first pitch, lifted left field. Bleday coming on, has to play it on a bounce, then drops the ball. There was no chance, really. It was read well by Heim, who was halfway. And that falls in to load him up.
Right off the end of the bat. Curveball.
That's 5 straight that have reached to begin the 4th. And now a man who's done major damage at Great American Ballpark. Lawrence Butler has grounded out so far today. He was a massive force when the A's came here a couple of years ago. His lifetime hit the Reds incredibly well. What he authored when they were here in 24, I don't think we had seen outside of Lane Thomas in our shared time in this booth. Thomas was here with Washington. He had a similar surge. Chopped to second. Could be 2. McLean flip. Ellie relay. Run score. Safe. Only 1 out. 3-1. Men at the corners.
Do we get a challenge?
Yes, they will. Reds challenge.
Pretty efficient in turning that double play.
Cincinnati is challenging a safe call at first base.
Ooh. Is the cleat still just above the base?
So as a base runner, you're always told to hit the front side of the base. And you can see Lawrence Butler's foot kind of lands on top of the bag. If that front toe is on that front part of the bag, there is no challenge at all. But because he did not touch the front part of that bag, look at that foot. Pretty close.
Now try to call it real speed live.
Exactly. See that toe right on top of that bag. That toe's down right now on the front part of that bag. It's not even a question.
You make the call, real speed. Oh. Now that's worth the challenge because you're talking about a possible second out. As it is, it's a lot of batters for Abbott on the inning. Is it a force fielder's choice with Butler on as well and 1 out? Or is it a double play? Only man at third, 2 down. New York giving it a good look because that is incredibly close. That's a hard call. Crew chief Lance Barksdale.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out.
Double play.
Cincinnati will retain their challenge.
And a low 5 between Ellie and Matt McClain as they turn 2. There you go.
Touch the front part of the bag.
But that flip from McClain had just enough mustard on it to get that done. We've seen that lacking at times this season, but with McClain at second base, it's a different story.
Defense is a premium, no doubt about it.
Brian Servant is grounded out to third base. Just nips the outer edge. And I also just feel there is an independent confidence and chemistry with those two up the middle.
Yeah, there's a familiarity. There is certainly a chemistry. They're the double play combination.
Your chance to win at any Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Sal Stewart, appeal, no go. Ball 1. He is flied to right. Mason Barnett has set down 7 in a row. He has faced the minimum since the game-opening homer by Ellie De La Cruz. Driven deep left center field. No doubt. 25 and counting for Sal Stewart. 3-2.
Well, you mentioned how Mason Barnett had been pitching very well since the home run by Ellie De La Cruz, meaning pitching behind. Now he's pitching with the lead. And the first pitch that he offers after pitching with the lead is not as much. I'm telling you, there is something to that as well.
That wry smile to his dugout, his teammates. There's a steadfast confidence in that young man. Only Frank Robinson has launched more homers as a Reds rookie ever. J.J. Bleday down 0-2. And how about this? Sal Stewart is trying to join Spencer Steer from his 23 debut season as the only rookies to lead the Reds in homers and RBIs in that same year. Now, the rookie distinction only came about in 1948. That's a long time.
It is.
Bleday on a 2-strike pitch, single to right center his first time. And Barnett strikes him out. Tyler Stevenson struck out looking his first time, part of the strike him out, throw him out on ABS. Swing and miss. Now Stevenson and Barnett are from the same basic area outside of Atlanta. Barnett a touch further northwest of the city, closer to Rome, Georgia. Longtime A-ball affiliate of the Braves. Driven to center by Stevenson. Way back and got again. 3 solo shots for the Reds. And Stevenson draws the Reds back even.
Well, we mentioned about how Tyler Stevenson is swinging the bat much better, but he's swinging at much better pitches. Look at the location of this one. Four-seam fastball, middle of the plate, and the field cannot hold the big fella. And I talked about how this Reds team has been playing to win as opposed to playing not to lose. Mason Barnett, after the first inning, was pitching from behind. The team was down 1-0 with the home run to Ellie De La Cruz. They go up 3-1, and then you go out there and give it up. I believe is because it changes your attack of these hitters. It's more of a, I've got a lead now, let me not make a mistake. That's when mistakes happen. Sal Stewart, Tyler Stevenson, home runs, tie ball game.
Visit from interim pitching coach Dan Hubbs. Took over just a few weeks ago, promoted from bullpen coach. The Reds on the rise. Now deadlocked. Eugenio Suarez struck out. Check swing without appeal his first time. Barnett has been praised during his rise at first in the Royals farm. That's who had drafted him. He was their minor league pitcher of the year for his bulldog attack mentality that you've seen fade some, or saw that as the advantage came. It was first instilled in him by the volunteer pitching coach when he was at Auburn, someone with heavy ties to his native greater Atlanta area and to the A's. Tim Hudson was one of his college pitching coaches. So if you've seen today that idea of the power sinker and shades of installed by Tim Hudson. Upstairs miss. A little gun shy. First time he's ever been tagged with 3 home runs in a major league game. And now it's 3-1 on Suarez. Slider catches the zone. Payoff pitch. Called foul. Now the A's got Barnett through trade. That was for Lucas Ercik, the funky delivery reliever that went to the Royals bullpen. Check swing. Did he go? No. Suarez is on. First walk drawn by a Red today. Dane Myers has struck out. That was on a foul tip. Foul tip strike. Timer violation. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and foul tip, strike 3. Here is today's new era presented by DirecTV. 2 big games in the minors for Hector Rodriguez.
Well, Hector Rodriguez just tore up AAA pitching, and he had some pretty good games, a 4 for 4 with 3 home runs, and then 7 ribby game. Hopefully this young man gets hot here in the big leagues, and we all can enjoy watching him do his thing.
Bounce in the dirt. He has struck out so far today. He connected on the first inside the Parker for AAA Louisville since Matt McLean, April of 23. McLean made noise as a rookie. I think was the Reds' best player that year. It was the first 3-homer game for a Louisville bat since Christian Encarnacion Strand, same year. CES came up and had a really good first year in the big leagues. Another pitch down. He was the first bat to go for the cycle since Matt McLean in 2023. Strike. And he needed the triple to get the cycle. It went high off the right center field wall. He dove headfirst into third base to leg out the 3-bagger. It's only been a few at bats. His takes have been impressive.
His last time out when he struck out, it was a changeup down. They tried the changeup down early in this at bat. He spit on it, didn't swing at it.
And he'll take his second walk in the show. That pushes Suarez up to second.
I'll tell you, that's a good sign. That's a very, very good sign. And for a young player, it's a confidence builder, especially if you're the guy that they're not quite sure if you're going to be disciplined enough. I'll show you.
Moment doesn't look too big for him. I'm always reading body language, eyes, etc. of a player that comes up, and some just are wide-eyed, and it takes a moment for the moment not to be too big. Not for him. Right from the get-go, he looks comfortable.
Marte to third on the backhand, long throw, out. Hand up from Terry Francona. Do the Reds want a challenge? They will not.
Well, the Reds respond down 3-1. Sal Stewart putting one on the board. And then QB1, Tyler Stevenson going deep to center field.
Back on Reds TV from Bar S. Strike 1 at Alika Williams, who has grounded out to third. Andrew Abbott faced 7 A's in the 3-run 4th inning. Reds responded with a 2 spot to tie it right to McLean. We saw a lot of early swings from the A's. While Abbott faced 7 men, the vast majority of those ABs were decided on 2 pitches or less.
Well, he throws a lot of strikes, trying to be aggressive.
Jonathan Ornelas struck out his first time. Backdoor strike. Ornelas was in AAA in the Yankees organization. He was hitting .299 and just saw himself roadblocked. So he took an opt-out in his contract. Signed with the A's, played at AAA for 6 games, got promoted to the big leagues, bet on himself, and it was a good choice.
That's a good win.
Abbott has struck out 2, walked 1. Full count. Ornelas, the 91st overall pick out of high school in Glendale, Arizona, 2018. And he works a walk. Brief word now from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky at MVG. With over 2,200 of the best gaming machines, we got you covered.
Top of the order, Bolte is lined to center, singled and scored. Bunt yanked back where Nellis took a few big steps toward second base. And if Bolte tries to drop it down, it does not necessarily mean sacrifice. He is the fastest man in the majors. Way up, and even though he's a right-handed hitter, his time to first base is exceptional. Ornelas himself did run a good amount in the minors, does not have a major league steal try yet in the majors, but he had nearly 100 as a minor leaguer. Fouled back.
A lot of times you mentioned how Bolte go and act like he's going to bunt. A lot of times that's to try to set up a pitcher to throw you a strike or throw you a pitch that you go, okay, you want to bunt? Put this ball on the ground. Ricky Henderson used to tell me he'd do that all the time. When I was the leadoff hitter at one point, we were playing against him, and he asked me about how often do you bunt. I said every once in a while. He said, well, you're a leadoff hitter that has some power. He said, so every once in a while, act like you're going to bunt. You're not going to bunt, but you're getting that pitcher the idea that you're going to try to lay this down. And that next pitch, he's going to throw you a fat one so you can bunt it and let it eat. I'm going to tell you, there's been a few times during my career after a fake bunt, I did go deep.
That's a pretty big swing on that last pitch and a hard foul from Bolte. Be a tough guy to double up. Runner off from first, pitch fouled back. The knee, strike 3. ABS powered by T-Mobile. Strike.
Call confirmed. The Athletics have 1 count remaining.
Our UC Health pitch tracks.
Fastball right down at the bottom of the zone. Wasn't even close. That was almost a full ball in the zone.
We saw the A's burn their 2 challenges fairly early yesterday. That left them paralyzed down the stretch, and I thought the Reds were able to take advantage of that. There were a number of calls the A's could have and should have challenged, but they could not.
Yep.
Tommy White, couple of hits to left and center. He has scored. Right to McLean. Artful dodge by Barksdale. Closer play in the hurdle by De La Cruz. Redsmuseum.org. Matt McLean struck out his first time. Has that bat again resting on the rear shoulder. 1-1. Third time today the Reds have put their leadoff man on. The first two were homers, including the game opening blow by Ellie De La Cruz, who was 1 for 2. Up and in. Barnett has racked up 7 strikeouts. That is tied a season high. It's one off his career high achieved in September last year against the Angels. Fisted pop. Max Muncy. Our Barres storylines, the solo shots for the Reds this afternoon.
Well, it's been all the home runs today. He started with Ellie De La Cruz going opposite way. Then down 3-1, Sal Stewart and Tyler Stevenson to tie up this ballgame.
Sal's jack came his last time up in the 4th. He's also flying to right. And the Reds have leaned on homers like few in the bigs most of the year. It's been Yankees Reds 1-2. McLean goes. Elevated miss. Throw down. Safe.
Great pitch to run on. Not only was it a sweeper, but it was a sweeper not on the outside part of the plate. So off-speed pitch, but an off-speed pitch somewhat right over the middle of the plate. You think if that ball's on the outside part of the plate, that catcher can go out and cheat a little bit.
13th steal from McLean, only caught twice. Has a big lead off second. That is beyond the shortstop. Williams base hit. Stop sign at third. Good charge by Soderstrom. Fire in is cut on the grass. Base hit Stewart.
Another breaking ball. Sal just sits right there. Squares this ball up. It's 107 off the bat. Ball was blistered.
So now J.J. Bleday, who has singled to right center, struck out. And Barnett will get a visit. They just now are getting a right-hander up in the A's pen. It is Elvis Alvarado. J.J. Bleday has homered against 28 of baseball's 30 teams. The two he has not gone deep against, the Baltimore Orioles, and his most recent other team, the A's. It's only the 6th game he's ever played against them. Foul tip. Bleday had his career year in 2024 with the A's. Had a more than 2 WAR season. Hit a still career high 20 homers, career high 43 doubles. He is at 19 home runs and counting as a Cincinnati Red. And that's after he spent the first month of the year at AAA, despite a very strong spring training. Two and one, and Barnett, so crisp, so confident, so efficient early, does not look the same.
Yeah, it certainly has changed. Another thing that has changed is double play positioning. I'm looking at the second baseman and the shortstop. If there's a ground ball hit to the shortstop here with this defensive lineman, there's no way in the world that second baseman's going to be able to get to the bag at second base under control. We saw that a little bit with Ellie De La Cruz earlier, and I think it was a week or so ago with Edwin Arroyo.
Yep.
There was a double play ball hit to Ellie De La Cruz and it wasn't turned. There's no way in the world that second baseman can get to that bag.
And Bleday walks, bases loaded. Third walk drawn by the Reds. It brings up Tyler Stevenson. Alvarado has had time to get ready, and here comes Mark Kotsay. Well, Stevenson, who went deep his last time, will bat bases juice. Pitching change for the A's, trying to untie a 3-all game. The Reds' long balls are StatCast 3D, Google Cloud.
Ellie and Sal have been the two guys consistently, and Tyler Stevenson has joined the group as one of the guys that's making a huge offensive impact. His home run tied up this ball game.
Well, Stevenson stands in, bases full. 308 hitter, lifetime bases juice with 3 grannies. He takes on our Skyline Chili called to the bullpen, Elvis Alvarado.
We saw Alvarado in this series. It's a power fastball on the slider.
Got the final out on Tuesday. Retired Dane Myers. Only threw 6 pitches in that game. Strike 1 for Stevenson. Entering this series when hitters have tried to get to him early, first couple of pitches hitting .400.
That was a good swing on a good pitch to hit.
At the knees for a strike. Alvarado went from release to the bigs in just a couple of years' time. Nationals let him go at 23. Issues with shoulder injury and command. He was inked to a minor league deal with the A's, and they've tried to harness that 98 to 100 fastball. Looking.
Well, you said it. Harness that fastball. And people ask, what is the most difficult pitch to hit? It's a well-located fastball.
Eugenio Suarez has struck out and walked. Nine Granny's lifetime. High velocity has been an issue this year. Just low. Appeal says no. That said, of Suarez's 14 homers, 10 have come on fastballs.
Ambush this 2-0 fastball right here.
Three and 0.
The take.
Command has been a career problem for Alvarado.
You green light Gino right here?
I think he's a veteran and he can make his choice. I'd want him to take. There's a run. Bases loaded, walk, and the Reds take a 4-3 lead. Now the Reds have been on the wrong side of bases loaded walks this year. Nice to see it go the other way. Dane Myers has struck out twice today. Up and in. .316 in his limited ABs. Bases full. Does have a grand slam. Six straight out of the zone. The A's bullpen as a group has had a trying year. Strike one. Another bases loaded walk. 5-3 Reds.
As a rookie, Hector Rodriguez, do you give him the take? I say no. Hector doesn't have problem hitting velocity at all.
And he has shown a pretty good eye so far to not force, not chase. In the minor leagues, a lifetime .375 hitter, bases loaded with one grand slam. Gets his first shot in the show, still searching for his first big league hit. One here could blow this game wide open.
First hit in the big leagues, be a grand slam. Wow. That would be amazing.
That line drive to score 2 would be fine too.
That would be great as well.
Brooms at the ready. Reds trying to sweep away the A's. They have a 2-run lead. Up and away. Command problems continue for Alvarado. Slider strike.
Threw a slider to Gino after he couldn't find the fastball. He pulled it down and away from Gino. Landed that one.
Two and one.
Yeah, 2 sliders back to back. Sit on this heater. Wow.
Breaking ball strike. Cannot seem to command the fastball. Snuck that slider in. Brady Basso warms in the A's pen. Fought foul by Rodriguez. Arguably the Reds' best 2-strike hitter this year. Sal Stewart's been great. Nathaniel Lowe was really good at extending ABs. Just a few at bats. It feels like Rodriguez has some of that in him. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, on appeal. Strike 3. Did he hold up? Will Little said he went. What do you say?
That's a close one.
Couple of bases loaded walks. Reds have the lead. On Instagram. Andrew Abbott sat for a long while for good reason. His team gave him a couple of runs of support, got into the A's bullpen. He gets ahead on Jonah Heim. Good amount of off speed from Abbott. That's part of 7 ground ball outs to this point. That's 1 off his season high. Up and away. We're seeing a lot more changeups today, a few more curveballs today. Fastball usage is down a decent amount. Still his primary pitch. Up the middle, base hit.
Well, Andrew Abbott has thrown all of his pitches fairly effective. Really, that 4-seam fastball changeup combination has been very good for him. Getting ahead early with that curveball and the sweeper. A little backdoor stealing a strike.
Gets strike 1 on Soderstrom. 2-run hit his last time. He's also flied to right. Oh, and 2. He had the most impactful hit in the 3-run fourth. Reds play a heavy pull tilt against him. Looking. Soderstrom stared back. Stevenson hit his helmet immediately because if it wasn't called a strike, he knew it would be one on ABS. Our Champion Windows pitch tracks.
Yeah, this fastball right on the corner. Just in case Steve-O said, oh, that's one.
Changeup strike to Max Muncy, who has struck out swinging, singled to left. And you saw Stevenson look back there and talk pretty quickly with Ryan Addison, home plate umpire. I wonder to what extent you're still massaging that relationship, being respectful. The umps get it. It's here. It's not going away. And it's not there to try to show anyone up. It's just to try to get the calls right. But you have to hit the head immediately. So if there's even the slightest pause, I'm not trying to show you up. I think there's an understanding there, and I think as long as things are also delivered the right way and the right tone, that it helps any relationship. And that's one of the most polite and respectful men you'll ever come across. Lifted left side. Oh, 2 down. Heim remains locked at first. Now left on left against Lawrence Butler, who's put the ball on the ground twice. Did not bring that lead foot down on the front of the bag. That fraction of time cost him and his team an out and a base runner.
Next guy up flew out to right field, which would probably have been good enough to score that run from third base if he were safe.
It's a great point.
Just like the Sal Stewart in the game 1, where there was a throw to third base, and he was on first base, and on the overthrow, he takes advantage of the pitcher that was backing up the play at third base, dropping his head, not paying attention. He gets in to second base, and eventually on 2 wild pitches, he scores the winning run. Small details matter. You can take no play for granted because it all works out at the end.
Poked foul. And that's been considerably the case for the A's, whose run scoring has been so slight. They've lost 10 of 11, scoring 3 a game in that time. And their bullpen has been very wanting. So a 5-3 Reds lead, everything's relative. Butler sends one foul the opposite way. The Reds trying to make it 11 wins in 15 games. Today they're trying to complete a sweep for the first time since mid-April. Looking for their 3rd of the year. Two and two. Now that said, Butler on any one swing has done a lot of damage against the Reds. Sailed right side, McLean over. Leadoff hit, never leaves first.
It includes exclusive merchandise, free Reds tickets, and special members only experiences at the ballpark. Purchase today at reds.com/fanclubs. Guys,
nobody sends it back to the booth like Jim Day. Brady Basso is in. Our Alter Fiber pitching change today.
We saw Brady in this series. This has been a struggling struggling A's bullpen. Good arms, but troubles in throwing strikes.
Marte to left field. And Basso was the first out of the pen in the opener behind Ginn. Faced the bottom third and got him in order. He was the man that got the soft liner on the broken bat from Hector Rodriguez that was stabbed by a leaping Jacob Wilson. A 1 out, Matt McLean hit by pitch, stole a bag and scored his last time. He's also struck out. Reds have 5 hits, 3 solo home runs. Center field, Bolte. And so far, all of the contact has come from the Reds' top 4 hitters. The bottom 5 are combined over. Ellie De La Cruz homered to begin the game. He's 1 for 3. He turns around about right-handed for the first time today. Over top of the breaking ball. Ellie has mashed as a right-handed hitter, totally transforming that right side. To third base. Good backhand by Muncy. Everything. 5-3 Reds. Second time this season, Andrew Abbott is on the mound to begin the 7th inning. Did so against the Padres June 8th. Did not get an out that day. Takes on the bottom third, starting with Brian Serven. In the air, center field, Dane Myers. Longest outing of the year for Abbott. He's been steady. He's been efficient. He's gotten a lot of ground balls. I spoke with him some about having his legs at this point in the year, and he conceded that there were walls in those earlier seasons in his career. Backdoor strike to Alika Williams. Pierce Johnson warming for the Reds. But he talked about learning himself, his own offseason conditioning, and like many Reds, grounded to third, Suarez. He had a lot of praise for veteran Brady Singer, saying that his teammate has helped him learn how to continue to adjust, how to continue to get better and thrive throughout the course of the year.
And that's exactly what a veteran pitcher should be doing. And the kind of advice that a younger all-star should be seeking out. That was just his 83rd pitch on the day.
Hard contact other way. Jonathan Ornelas, 2-out single. Now, he went 7 or more 7 times last year, including that shutout against Cleveland in mid-June. And it looks like with that hit, that's going to be all for Abbott today. Bolte due up. Pierce Johnson is ready. Longest start of the year for the southpaw. Andrew Abbott leaves in line for the win. Paul today.
Yeah, I thought it was an all-star-like outing for Andrew Abbott. Navigating through trouble when trouble showed up, throwing a lot of pitches. Talked about that backdoor breaking ball early to get strike one. Pitched ahead in the count. He was fairly pitch efficient, and he's in line for the win.
A strong showing from Abbott. Henry Bolte, leadoff man and speedster, against veteran right-hander Pierce Johnson. Breaking ball strike. Check swing, clearly win. Appeal confirms. Fouled off Stevenson. Bolte struck out in the 5th. Trying to use a challenge on the pitch. Pretty fat bottom of the zone. And lost one for the A's. Cornelis got a look.
You got to field your position after you throw that pitch. You become an infielder.
He is in line for a victory. Solo shots have carried the offense. Ellie, Sal, and Stevenson. Some bases loaded walks aided things as well. New man out of the A's pen is Seth Johnson. Check swing seemed to go. Appeal says no. Ball one on Sal Stewart. Just down. Johnson had been a career Philly before his A's time. In his high school days, he was a shortstop that would pitch once in a while when the team needed him. Hard to third, foul. Nice play by the ball boy. When he got to Lewisburg College in North Carolina, he was a shortstop there that had some spot as needed pitching, but he did not hit. He had one rough day in the cage. It was after his team had been off, and he asked a teammate to clock how hard he could throw. Fastball for a strike. He hit 92. And then he hit the mound on a regular basis. Was the 40th overall pick in 2019. He called it the best off day of his life.
Thank you for feeding into the narrative about shortstops, John. Appreciate that.
They're everywhere.
Boogie, you heard that, right?
Away 3-2. Boogie, I was telling a story about the pitcher.
No, you were telling a story about the shortstop.
He himself was a shortstop, right?
He was.
Payoff out back. You know, entering today, In Abbott's last 6 starts, the Reds had won 1 game. They were 1-5 over those 6 starts. And there was a big reason for that. He had pitched pretty well. He had an ERA in the 3s in that time. He had gotten 13 total runs of support in the 6 starts. They gave him 5 today.
Yeah, he's done his job. The offense had been wanting for many of those starts. Not the case today.
Struck him out.
Climb the ladder with the heater. That is old time hardball.
J.J. Bleday in the air, deep right center field. He's tied his career high. 20 bombs for Bleday. The Reds have a 6-3 lead. His first ever home run against his former club.
This fastball was 98.5 miles an hour. It was elevated, but not elevated enough. I talked about getting on top of the ball. Look at that top hand. Down through that baseball that was elevated. And he elevated it into the stands.
Yeah, Taylor. Tyler Stevenson down and away. He has homered once, struck out twice. Now, Bleday broke in as a Marlin. He broke through as an A, and he's so far gone to another level as a Red.
And as I mentioned earlier, I think there's more to the game of J.J. Bleday. Hopefully he'll be a fixture in this organization and will continue to develop as a hitter. I think there's more in the tank.
Stevenson fouls it away. And how about this? We gave you the nugget earlier. When the Reds have gone Ellie, Sal, Bleday, Stevenson, top 4 spots, they are undefeated to this point. All 4 have homered today. That has not happened for a Reds lineup where 1, 2, 3, and 4 all went deep since early in 2021. It was April 22nd that year. Jesse Winker went deep twice. Nick Castellanos, Joey Votto, and Eugenio Suarez all went yard. That was a wild game that day. Reds lost it to Arizona in 10 innings, 14-11. That was a Reds team that had thinned some of its veterans in the bullpen before the season. Bullpen was bad those first couple of months. Those Reds could score a lot of runs and nearly made the playoffs that year. Winker got hurt, Naquin got hurt. They had trouble scoring down the stretch. It was a fun team for a lot of that year. Up the middle. Backhand on a slide. Ornelas. Nice play.
And another ball well struck by Tyler Stevenson. But right into the teeth of the defense. Ornelas dropping the anchor, planting that foot, let that first baseman make the play. Really good play.
Eugenio Suarez has struck out once, walked twice, the last time with the bases loaded to drive in a run. Driven left center field. Skips to the wall. A standing double for Suarez.
See a lot of elevated fastballs from Seth Johnson. Can't throw it by these hitters. Ke'Bryan Hayes comes in to pinch run for Suarez at second base.
That young lady has signs for everyone. Does she have signs for the whole team? Or young man, I'm sorry. Oh, Hayes running for Gino. That also means he'll take over defensively. A miss to Myers, who walked bases loaded his last time. He has struck out twice. That's pretty cool to be that prepared. Two outs. Reds trying to add on. Check swing. He win. Larger lead for Hayes. Fouled away. Struck him out.
Well, it's been a lot of home runs today. A power show. J.J. Bleday gets into the act.
Trying to sweep away the A's. That kind of playfulness. That's how the Reds have played. They've been carefree. Been a looseness about this team. Doubling up the A's. Tommy White leads it off. Pierce Johnson defended himself. He snared the comebacker to close the visiting seventh. Reds have Sam Maul warming while White has a couple of hits and a run scored today. Ke'Bryan Hayes does stay in. Straight switch for Gino at third base. Which means the ball's going to be sent to third at some point this inning.
We'll find you.
So the former A. Sam Maul getting set. Switch hitter Jonah Heim on deck, then the lefty in Tyler Soderstrom. Now, something we don't talk about a lot anymore because it's been around for a while, but I'm not sure that everyone understands the nuance. 3-batter minimum. Johnson faced one man last inning. He doesn't have to come out for this inning, but if he does, he then has to face 2 batters.
You're right. We haven't spoken about that much at all.
To second base, McLean. Here is tonight's Liberty Mutual Insurance field coverage. The Reds pen going back 14 games.
Remember at the start of the season how good the pen was and how we won all those games? Well, here you have it again. There's a reason why we're playing good, winning baseball right now. The pen has been a huge part of it.
Switch hitting Heim has been on twice. Base hit, a walk, has scored a run. Upstairs. On the edge, breaking ball strike. Check swing seemed to go. Appeal confirms. You'd imagine this is Johnson's last man. Soderstrom on deck, the right-handed Muncy, the left-handed Butler. Also consider the hot-hitting Jeff McNeil. Lefty is among the bench bats. Now the Reds do have to handle the bullpen game tomorrow. Hunter Green was the original scheduled starter today on his birthday. He hit the IL, so Abbott got bumped up. The Reds had a day off during the week, so that's not short rest. Terry Francona said before the game it could be Luis May, who served as an opener his last outing at AAA, depended upon how the bullpen went today. And it's not all that far down the road. The Reds are going to have a trying stretch. They will have an off day in the middle of the coming road trip, but then they're going to have a long surge of games, including a doubleheader against the Cardinals next homestand. Two. And also add in, after the day off on Monday, Nick Lodolo comes back. And while he looked strong in his last rehab, he was at 60-something pitches. So what's realistic Tuesday? Could be looking for an extra inning or two out of the pen, even if it goes well in his first game back.
I say it all the time. You can never have enough pitching.
Johnson strikes out Heim, and immediately Terry Francona comes up the steps.
The arms are going to be taxed.
Pitching change, left on left. Maul against Soderstrom. Visit Reds.tv for details. Some of our outstanding camera crew getting it done today, wearing it some in the sun, finding those smiling faces and those major moments out there on the field. There in the batter's eye as well. Sam Maul on the mound.
Saw Sam in the first game of this series. Threw 20 pitches in his one inning work.
Tyler Soderstrom, 2-run hit in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. Strike 2. A's have lefty Jose Suarez up. Fouled hard. Ball will find you. First inning on defense. Key Brian Hayes gets the assist. Rodriguez leads it off. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts so far today. Still searching for his first big league hit. Among his champions, teammate Sal Stewart. Great quote from Charlie Goldsmith that he put up on his chalkboard and he referenced on the pod. Sal told Charlie, quote, "There are some pitches that Hector hits that make you scratch your head. How did he even do that? It leaves me speechless." Grounded to second base, handled by Ornelas. Sal said of the Reds' fellow rookie, he's a one-of-a-kind hitter. Really special. Bat speed is through the roof. People better watch out when he comes through.
Yeah, he's super handsy. He has the ability to handle all the pitches. It's just about getting comfortable. The hope is that he gets enough playing time to be able to become comfortable so that he can show what he can do. He is super talented.
Noelvi Marte, ball one. The Reds have Brock Burke warming. Fouled back by Marte. Well, Rodriguez plays all three outfield spots, including some time at center this year. Bleday has been the mainstay in left. Myers is getting the bulk of the time at center. So for Rodriguez to play, it likely means DH or right field, as the Reds often align themselves. Fouled back 2-2. I think the Reds want to see what they have in Noelvi Marte, but you also want to give Hector his run. He's one of their most highly touted prospects, getting his first taste of the big leagues. And the other wrinkle to that, shades of what happened start of the season when it was Marte and Will Benson. Marte on his year and career does not hit lefties nearly as well as righties, which is weird. He's got reverse splits. CES have the same. Now, it's not a unicorn, but it's not common. 2-2. Hard ground ball is through, base hit. But we saw it was not a design platoon, yet when Benson and Marte were essentially sharing that spot in time, Benson more often saw time against righties than Marte had a lot of at-bats against lefties, which don't put him in the best chance to be successful. And it's not ill intent, it's just part of how the roster's built. And ultimately, if one guy starts playing really well, he's probably going to play a lot. Ball one to McLean. He's been hit by a pitch. He's got a steal and a run scored. Lifted foul. Tommy White into the netting. Check swing. Late appeal. He did not go. Swing and a miss. A win today, the Reds would not only have a sweep of the A's, they would have their first 4-game win streak at home since they won 6 in a row, straddling 2 different homestands September of last year. It was against the Mets and a sweep of the Cubs. Up and in. They're also trying to trek within 2 of 500 for the first time since they ended their series at Yankee Stadium with the win. They were 37-39 June 21st at the end of the day. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Rick Ross comes to GABP 1 week from tomorrow, part of the Ohio Lottery postgame concert series. Keep the party going after Reds and Marlins is set for Rick Ross. Get tickets now, reds.com/concerts. Third strikeout for Seth Johnson. Ellie De La Cruz fouls back strike one. Home run in the first. With Bleday's home run earlier today, he became the second Red to 20. Sal Stewart got his team leading 25th. The next home run for Ellie would be a trio of Reds with 20 or more this year. As it stands, it would be a save situation assuming Brock Burke comes in. He has one career save. Came in Texas against his former club in early April. He had gas that day. He was living at the century mark, aggressively attacking Rangers hitters. Marte not held on. Tommy White guards the line at first base. 3-2. Looking, strike three. Well, Pagan has pitched a lot of late, so Brock Burke will get the call. The Reds seek a sweep, 3 outs away, a 3-run lead. Burke looking for a save.
As you mentioned, Emilio Pagan has pitched a lot recently. Brock Burke has been an Iron Man out of this bullpen. Getting a chance today.
He was the first out of the Reds pen yesterday. It's ahead of Max Muncy 0-2. He retired all 4 he faced, 3 by way of K on 18 pitches last night. Muncy 1 for 3. Changeup fades away. Right field. 1 down.
Oh, you talked about Brock Burke and the gas that he was throwing with the Texas Rangers. I mean, that is high octane.
He averaged 99. Struck out the side. Said after the game, quote, "It feels pretty special, especially doing it against a team I was with not too long ago. It was awesome." And Jim interviewed him after the game, and he shared with Jim, you definitely want to prove them a little bit wrong. Rangers had DFA'd him. To do that against them, to get my first save, it's almost like a movie. Bunt yanked back, never fully squared by Butler, who's 0 for 3.
Motivation comes in different forms and shapes. It matters. It certainly matters.
Stabbing bunt tries a clean miss. Tells you how uncomfortable Butler must be. This is a man who has killed Reds pitching in this park. They're down 3, and he's showing a stabbing bunt try in this left on left. Fouled off Stevenson. Burke spent time in the American League West. A's were a team that gave him trouble back then. Full count. Up the middle, De La Cruz has to barehand on the run. Offline throw, and it whistles down the steps of the Reds dugout. That will give second to Butler.
I would assume a base hit and an error.
Single E6.
Yep. Yeah, it's a do or die situation for Elly De La Cruz. Does a nice job of fielding it bare hand. Just that angle to figure the ball is going to have a little bit of a tail on it. So you try to throw it up the line a little bit. Play the fade.
So now Brian Servin, who's 0 for 3. Yeah, Butler was home to first there in 4-2. It was pretty quick. In the air, left field. Bleday going way back, and that is gone. Just the second of the year for Servin, and it's a one-run game.
Well, this is a fastball down and in to Servin. Puts a really good swing on it. And these A's are not going away quietly.
And on that homer, TJ Antone is now up, getting ready fast and furious. Luis Medina is warming for the A's just in case. A miss into Alika Williams. And Jim Day, TJ had recently shared with you that he's found a quick formula to get ready.
Yeah, he warms up quickly, and that is music to a manager's ears, especially in a situation like this. And it's by design, and it is also just the reinvented TJ Antone.
Coming off 3 Tommy Johns. Rolled to short. De La Cruz backhands. Swipe by Stewart, got him.
Nice dig out of the dirt by Sal Stewart at first base. Ball in the hole, and a little tentative on this throw right here. Nice job by Sal.
Jonathan Ornelas has walked and singled. Early turn foul. Now you'd imagine if Ornelas finds his way on with the speedy Bolte due up, that Antone would get the call. Key Brian Hayes guards the line. 0-2. It's hard to sweep someone. The Reds seeking their third of the year, their first since mid-April. Fouled back. They have had 5 other chances since. This is their 6th since they completed the sweep in Minnesota back on April 19th. Grounded to third, backhanded by Hayes, foul. That was a great play. He was going to get him if that had been a fair ball. One of baseball's best stories out of the break. They did not break up the Reds at the trade deadline, and they keep cooking. They take down the A's in all 3.
Well, they've been playing some really good baseball, John, and it really all starts with the starting pitching today. Andrew Abbott, a very typical day for him, going out and just mixing it up and navigating through traffic. Had a little trouble in that 4th inning, but other than that, pitched much like the all-star that he was last year. The bullpen did a nice job. The offense, it was early and it was often the first 4 guys, Ellie, Sal, JJ, and T. Stevenson, all going deep. Nice to see. This was a very winnable series. They took care of business here. Now it's time to go on the road and continue the momentum that they have.
Well, the Reds have now won 11 of their last 15 games, and all 3 in this series by 1 run. The kings of the close calls. They continue to take the tight games. Reds post game is on the other side.